Welcome back to Shred with Ed. If you watched our last video, you'll know that colder temperatures have arrived in New Jersey, and we had a really tough time just getting a ride in the other day. Between obviously the weather and time of year, we are running out of daylight, or it's just simply too cold to ride. So I thought about what I could do. Not really a fan of indoor spin classes and such, and I really want to ride my mountain bike as much as possible. So can I figure out how to ride a mountain bike indoors? And the answer is yes. And I'll show you how. Enter the Wahoo Kicker. This is an indoor trainer that most people would think is used for a road bike, but with just a couple small adapters and a cassette for a mountain bike, I can convert this to a trainer for my mountain bike. So without further ado, let's get it set up. Alright, so a few things to note that you'll want for mountain biking with Zwift. You will want to obviously have your computer set up to a larger monitor just so it's easier to see. You will want a fan to help keep you cool because when you're inside there is obviously no wind. I put a towel under my front wheel to help the wheel steer because for the mountain bike trails on Zwift, you do need to turn the handlebars. I put a quad lock case on my iPhone so I can mount it to my handlebars. I just twisted the other computer mount out of the way. And then I obviously got a towel and one very judgmental animal.
Alright, so to get started, realizing I probably should have raised my seat up a little bit more. Typically when you're mountain biking, you keep the seat a little bit lower just so it stays out of the way. But just want to do a quick warm-up and find my way to the mountain bike trails on Zwift. Alright, so getting up to the trails, you'll notice there's a little cutoff and you will obviously steer to the right. I'm using my phone as a way to choose the direction, and here you're seeing it's telling me to get my handlebar set up ready for steering. It gives you a quick countdown to load up, and here we go. I haven't really had a chance to mess with this too much, but the steering is a little tough to figure out. Obviously, when you're actually riding a bike, you lean the whole bike more than you just steer the handlebars, so that took some getting used to. As you see, I'm a little shaky through here, but all in all, this is pretty fun. It's pretty challenging. It's a good way to actually engage the core as opposed to just sitting on the bike and pedaling away. I like how they're adding in obstacles and such here with these bridges. You can see they leave you little guidelines to show you where the fast lines are. If you notice on the left of the screen, it does grade you on how you're doing with respect to taking lines and such, and you can see my pace partners chasing me. That's one good thing about Zwift too, is you don't have to just stare at an avatar of yourself the entire time. You can select an option to use a pace partner who the system calculates your fitness and tries to give you something or somewhat of a rabbit to chase and work on catching. But the good thing about having a smart trainer like this is it uses magnets to match the resistance of the trail or road course, and it gives you a pretty lifelike experience when it comes to pedaling. So this should be pretty good with staying in shape as the weather gets colder and wetter in the Northeast. So this was pretty enjoyable for me. I didn't think I'd really like it at all. I figured it'd be pretty muted and boring, but it was nice. It was a good challenge. I like to compete, so seeing the leaderboard on the left-hand side and being able to post times and see how I stack up with other people on Zwift and obviously previous times of my own should give me some room for growth and at least some motivation to continue to do better. So paired with the smart trainer, Zwift does give you enough resistance to mimic an actual climb, which I like. It doesn't feel like you're just on a stationary bike in a spin class if you went to your local fitness club or something. So this was pretty good, and you can see I'm making my way past my pace partner. But the tough part of being on a mountain bike is the suspension obviously moves a lot when you get out of the saddle, so it kind of makes you shy away from doing that. But this was still pretty fun. It was challenging. It wasn't just like a typical spin class, so I liked that. And it's just nice to see the progress. Here we are descending, so the trail does mix it up a little bit. It's not just an all-out sufferfest. And now for the cool down that the course is over. Zwift does offer training programs, so I'm going to try a couple of those out, and maybe I'll do a future video on some of the training programs just to show my progress on how I'm going to stay in shape in the off season. I do like this steering feature. It does give me something else to do and focus on, but this is obviously still more road rider friendly. But I appreciate you guys watching this video this week. I hope you learned something. If you have any more questions on how to find the mountain bike trails on Strava, please leave a comment below.